Zac Brown didn't fade because the music failed. He faded after he built something most artists never do. And the decision that gave him power is the same one that quietly pulled him away from the spotlight. Most people never noticed when it happened. They just felt the distance later. This isn't about a scandal. It's about a choice. One fans still disagree about, even if they don't realize it. And by the end of this story, you'll understand the exact trade-off Zac Brown made and why it changed how people showed up for him. Early on, Zac Brown wasn't supposed to work. Too many musicians, too much emphasis on instruments, too little focus on making one person the star. Country music has always rewarded simplicity, one voice, one face, one story. But Zac didn't build a star, he built a system. A band where every member mattered, where the sound was bigger than any single personality, where the show felt alive, unpredictable, and shared. For fans, it felt authentic. For the industry, it felt risky. And for a while, it worked better than anyone expected. Success didn't just arrive, it expanded. Bigger tours, more production, more people depending on every decision. The shows became tighter, the expectations heavier. And here's the moment most videos skip. Zac Brown didn't lose control as things grew. He gained too much of it. Every creative choice now carried weight not just for him, but for everyone tied to what he built. When your decisions affect livelihoods, not just your own expression, freedom starts to feel different. At first, the growth felt exciting. Different sounds, new influences, a sense that Zac wasn't interested in repeating himself just to stay comfortable. But country music audiences don't follow artists the way pop fans do. They don't follow curiosity, they follow connection. And connection in country music is built on familiarity. Fans don't ask, "What are you experimenting with next?" They ask, "Will this still feel like home?" When Zac started stretching outward, some fans didn't get angry. They didn't protest. They didn't complain loudly. They just paused. And pausing is far more dangerous than outrage. Here's the tension fans rarely talk about. Zac Brown didn't fall off. He didn't lose respect. What changed was where attention lived. The band stopped feeling like something you grew with and started feeling like something you visited occasionally. That shift doesn't trend. It doesn't spark headlines, but it quietly drains momentum. And while fans were feeling distance, Zac was feeling something else entirely. He had already climbed the mountain. Awards, sold-out tours, industry credibility. Success does something strange when it lasts long enough. It replaces hunger with options. You stop asking, "How do I get there?" and start asking, "Do I still want to be there?" For Zac, there meant something very specific. It meant maintaining a machine, a band, a brand, a legacy that required consistency more than curiosity. And machines don't care how inspired you feel. This is where the story changes. Because Zac wasn't choosing between success and failure. He was choosing between presence and protection. Between being unpredictable and being responsible. Between staying restless and keeping everything running smoothly. He chose stability over urgency, protection over chaos, structure over spontaneity. And in doing so, he gained peace, but lost proximity. Fans felt it, even if they couldn't explain it. There was no goodbye, no announcement, no clean moment that explained the distance. The music continued, but the presence changed. And absence without explanation always creates confusion. People don't know what to argue with, so they quietly drift. Here's the part that reframes everything. Zac Brown didn't step back because he couldn't keep up. He stepped back because he didn't want to become the caretaker of something that once felt alive. There's a difference between being an artist and being the CEO of your own legacy. Artists wander, they chase feeling. CEOs protect systems. And Zac built a system worth protecting. That choice doesn't look dramatic from the outside, but it's heavy from the inside. Because once you choose stability, returning to chaos becomes harder than leaving it. Most people watching this recognize this moment instantly. The moment where you realize you could keep climbing, but you're not sure the cost makes sense anymore. Where walking back doesn't feel like quitting, it feels like choosing yourself. Zac Brown didn't disappear. He stayed just on his own terms. And that's why his absence feels louder than most artists' comebacks. Not because something broke, but because something quietly changed. So when people ask where Zac Brown went, the answer isn't that he left. It's that he chose distance over dominance. And sometimes that's harder to accept than failure. If you've ever watched someone successful step back without explanation, if you've ever felt a connection fade without breaking, then you already understand this story. You just didn't expect to see it happen in country music. And that unresolved feeling is exactly why people are still talking about Zac Brown today.